Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by lineups.com. Thursday in the NBA, just one game here, bunch of Clippers sitting as we got the Suns and the Clips going off tonight. We're going to be taking a look at some player props from this game, and then we've got some regular season wins. We've got some futures looks for you and some other stuff to sort of kind of take a quick pause on 11-6 here, November the 6th, kind of see where we're at with a couple teams and bet on some futures for those teams as well. So let's kick it off with the props, though, from this Suns and Clips game. But let's start things off here with a prop from this Suns and Clippers game. Nate, we got Royce O'Neal, pretty low point total.
Yeah, just double-digit points. That's all you need here. Also, plus 125 for him to hit 3 threes, and that's notable because in the last 7.5 of his 9 field goal attempts per game have been threes. So, I mean, this is new age NBA basketball. This is a guy in the trail position, just taking a lot of above-the-break threes, shooting 47% in that span. Clippers, surprisingly, allowing the second most above the break threes and fourth worst percentage, 39%. That is worst in the Western Conference. But with Dillon Brooks ruled out, we know Royce is going to get the burn, right? Jalen Green returning might throw a little bit of a wrench into the rotation, but his props indicate he's probably on a minutes limit, pretty strict minutes limit. It would indicate. I think that kind of hurts Ryan Dunn more if I had to forecast. Yeah, I think Royce is pretty central to what this team wants to do, especially when they don't have Dillon Brooks as that kind of 3-and-D spacer. And I mean, he played 46 minutes the first game after Brooks went down, had 17, 13, and 7, hit 5 threes. He has had success against the Clips a lot of times out there trying to slow down Kawhi. He doesn't have to do that tonight, but I think he'll still get the burn. He's averaged 3 threes in his 7 against the Clips with the Suns, 12 points a game, 42% from 3. I mean, this Clippers team is just kind of slow and old, even though they are missing Kawhi and Harden, who are part of that. But I mean, they're not replacing them with any young spring chickens, really, other than Chris Dunn to stick on Booker. So, I mean, coming off his first under against this number against the fast and young Warriors for the most part. I know, the Warriors have some vets, but they are a fast team. I think it's good to just buy back into Royce O'Neal and what should be an easier matchup for him.
Yeah, I think it's like it went from don't take any Suns players because of the defense well, to be honest, it might still just be the same defense, but Royce isn't really the guy that they're going to be focused on. You can still get some spot up against the Clippers now. I mean, they're probably going to be a bit better on defense, but that doesn't really make me care when it comes to Royce isn't beating somebody off the dribble. He doesn't need there to be really bad defenders out there. Like he'll get his shots based on where the pressure of the defense is going to sort of force the ball, and it's going to be to a guy like Royce O'Neal. So I imagine the 9.5 is what it is because the threes are like 2.5, and then you have to decide if you'd rather take the threes or the points, but they're going to make the points more than 3 threes, right? So it makes sense that you have to set you're basically bypassing the threes, even though we think that's probably how he's going to score. At least 2 of his buckets should be threes in this one to help us out. But to avoid the need for a third, there's other ways that he's going to be able to get points. I think it's a smart way to play him rather than try to take the threes. But dog, it's turned back the clock night, man. Who else is playing point guard for this team? I love Chris Dunn. He's not a point guard. You're never going to hear me say like a bad thing about Chris Dunn, but he entered the league as like almost maybe a point guard, and it quickly became obvious that's not the case. So Brad Beal, how did that work when he was point guard for the Suns? Like 4 potential assists per game when he's the primary ball handler with the most touches. That's not Brad Beal at all. So I don't know who's starting yet. Would make sense that it's Chris Paul, and even if it's not, I think Ty Lue watches enough of this game in the first half. If he doesn't play Chris Paul a ton for whatever reason, he watches this game and goes, well, I don't have a choice. Like put Grandpa out there, man, because we don't have anything else. And this isn't like a defense that we need to worry about. If Chris Paul gives up some stuff in transition because he doesn't feel like getting back, we'll take that because it's going to help our offense. And we have plenty of other guys getting back on defense like the Derek Jones and the Chris Dunns of this team who should see a good amount of minutes as well. So I think this is like 10-6. Like I could see 10-10. I do think he gets like a couple of looks from 3. I think he's out there. Like he hasn't played more than 20 minutes, but that's just by design. Like now it is by design that he has to play high 20s. And this is why you have Chris Paul as the one out of every 10 games that you need someone to shore up the ball handling and everything else. So I love this game for Chris Paul. I thought this would be higher. I'm looking at this game as like 3 years ago, Chris Paul, and I'm down to take props like that.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that would be something. The Clippers definitely, they have options. They have Bogey. They have Beal, who's going to be out for revenge. I still think, yeah, you're right. Chris Paul is going to be a guy orchestrating things and dominating time on the ball while he's out there in 20 to 25 minutes. So, I mean, it does give me some concern for the best competitor to this bet, which is Devin Booker, assist leader. I think you can go Devin Booker points leader, which is minus 150 to 170 if you are concerned about this, but his prop is still higher than CP3. I mean, he's projected 7.5 assists. He's gotten 7 or 8 dimes in 4 straight against the Clippers because they are usually a very good defensive scheme trying to get the ball out of the best guy's hands, not let him beat them specifically. But last year, he was second to Tyus Jones in passes in these matchups. He still had 14 potential assists per game. Durant was up there in playmaking. This year, his potential assists 16.3 doubles the next 2 guys on the Suns. Like it is just like wheels up book season as far as him creating. He only had 7 dimes on 13 potential assists in a blowout loss. And this Clips defense, man, just look at the difference. They're 26th in assists per game in the last 3. Suns are 12th. They're 29th in field goal percentage allowed, and Suns are 7th. This is just like upside down world early in the NBA season.
Yeah, that happens at random points in the season. You get like these 5-game spans where that's going to be the case randomly. Maybe schedule comes into play, injuries and the like. But finishing up the props from this one, I'm going to go with John Collins. Like the points are 17.5. Not worried about that. He's not necessarily like this giant leap in volume guy, right? Like when he plays with that, like even when he was on Utah, where he was much higher in the sort of pecking order for that team, like he wasn't taking 20, 22 shots consistently. I'd still like the points at 17.5. I do think he gets up to like 15, 16, 17 shots in that range. And that's all I need against the Suns to feel good about him, especially a Suns team that, like, I guess Ryan Dunn's playing power forward still. Really like that matchup for John Collins to eat around the rim and such. So like that's the rebounds are there. Like there's a little double if you want as well. The rebounds have been pretty consistent per minute for him. He's just a 25-minute a night guy. Even when Kawhi missed the other night, that was what he played, right? Was about 25 minutes. So I think like in this one, it's there's no one else. There's opportunity now. He's going to be one of the top 3 offensive players on the court for this team now. And so everything he's done for this team so far, which has been get the rebounds, finish the shots in the corner, get some offensive putbacks, be in the dunker spot for us to use your leaping ability. That's all great, but that's a little bit more just off ball, not focal point stuff. And I think he's definitely in sort of right. He raises in the priority for this game. So the boards are there because of the minutes. I like the points too, because I think the volume will go up. So it's all good for Collins tonight.
Yeah. I mean, and no ball dominant guy for the Clips, right? I mean, no Kawhi, no Harden. So yeah, it's going to be more egalitarian. And the guard rotation is still it's crowded. It's scary for me. It's flat in terms of like Bogey just doesn't play sometimes. It's not health related. He's just not going to play if Beal's playing. Yeah. So I mean that's just a lot more murky than John Collins' role, which is pretty solid and a little bit of a boost when Kawhi doesn't play for sure.
And I just had the premonition of Chris Paul, John Collins pick and roll just turning into lobs at the rim for our boy. So yeah, I like that.
Both are turning back the clock apparently, right. But yeah, let's look at some futures here. On the 6th, we got NBA Cup action tomorrow, but I'd rather just bet on regular season stuff. NBA Cup is a little more murky. Rather buy on some teams that like we've seen it from the Portland Trailblazers as far as beating the Oklahoma City Thunder. And yeah, OKC on the back-to-back, but they came back from 20 down, man. This Blazers team is better than we thought. And maybe better than we thought the last 2 years under Crooked Chauncey, right? Now they are giving a fair shake every night. And they have Drew Holiday, who, friend of the show, is just absolutely drives winning everywhere he goes. So 38.5 wins. I mean, the current projection is a 50% outcome for them to have 41 wins. The ceiling of their outcome, according to team rankings, is 45 wins if they have good luck. ESPN projects them anywhere from 38 to 44. So everything indicates this is their absolute floor is 38 wins. And I will take the improvement here. I mean, with Jeremy Grant accepting his role, with Clint Kong now able to shoot threes, stay on the floor, that rim defense, which is already 4th best in the West, should only get better the more he can play. You got guys coming back, right? Scoot coming back, Denny Avdia taking the leap. And they have this fast break discrepancy that is among the best in the league. They get you in transition. They get back in transition. They have the number 1 assist to turnover ratio defense, and they have the 2nd easiest remaining schedule in the West, which is huge as far as like the West being a gauntlet and like, do you have winnable games? And like, yes, they do. they definitely, I think, are going to be in this play-in mix. I mean, they have the shortest odds to make the play-in of any team in the West. And last year, it was between 39 to 48 wins to make the play-in with two teams at 48. So, I mean, if you're telling me they're in that they're probably winning 39 to 40 games.
I love Portland. Yeah, I'm happy to take them to get 40 plus wins this season. I don't think there's like alts available, and not every book is going to
There is
hang.
at FanDuel. Yep.
There is a FanDuel, and you can take alt stuff
You can
too.
take 40 plus, 45 plus. Yep.
That's right. You can do the milestone wins at right now as well. Yep, saw that. So yeah, I like that. I like a little sprinkle on 45 plus wins for them, and just toss it in. A couple of things might have to fall right here and there for you, but like I think more, it's not necessarily in their division. It might be more like the Pacific, right? Where I see like weird things with the Lakers. Then there's a Steph and Jimmy sort of lull where they're not around for a bit. Like there's teams over there that you can definitely take advantage of in the West a bit more. And I would venture to guess that they're playing those teams a bit more towards the end of the season too, rather than the Northwest. But I love this. Yeah, I love the Blazers. I love everything about all of their team. I love Tumani Kamara. I love Denny Avdia and Clint Kong. So yeah, this is a really good team. And then Drew, if he's playing on offense like he is, there was no doubt he was only going to make a really good perimeter defense and now down low defense even better. So speaking of good down low defenses, this is not one of them, but the Chicago Bulls are good. They are good. I'm saying that. I'm going to definitively say that they are good enough. Let me say that. They are good enough. Dang it, right? They're a GED right now because they're in the East. And that is so helpful. So helpful to be in the Eastern Conference right now, which is why they sit atop it. What a weird sort of moment in time right now to see like how these standings just sort of fall down based on expectations to start the season with who's in the top six. The Magic, I think, are outside the top 10 right now, sitting 3-5. The Hawks at 4-4. So the Southeast is all upside down. But for the Bulls, most importantly, just looking at what they have, there's room for growth still. And I mentioned the dog teams of the East because it's highly relevant. Like all those teams I mentioned, they're going to play a lot. And so for the growth potential here, it's Kobe White coming back, obviously, which should happen, I believe, within the next couple of weeks. That was the most recent thing that I saw on the NBA page. But for him, and then Matas's growth, like Matas is still getting better. He still does like 4 to 5 things in a game where I'm like, he's the only guy on the floor that could have done that. He's like 6'10", and he just knifed his way through 3 dudes with a Euro step and finished at the rim because there's no one else that can get as high as him. Like that's there. The 3 ball is still not fully there. The rebound is actually a bit unrealized. The rebound chances are there. If he stops fouling, he'll get the minutes. So I'm still very, very high on him. And I would say his start to the season is that of one that you expect, like, yeah, he's going to take a leap, but it doesn't mean it's just right out the gate he's going to be going 28-4 or something ridiculous like that. So I think the fact that they've sold the interior defense is brilliant. I love that by Billy Donovan because you just go further into the muck. You're not going to get out of it with Vooch at center. And if you're not trading him, which you still haven't done, it's 2025 and Vooch is still on the Bulls. So I'd say he's probably finishing out his contract, in which case just lean in, man. And yeah, play some guys like Phillips and guys that can come off the bench and be really athletic and help around the rim. That's great. Do all of that. And then just no threes. And Giddey is the real deal. That's it. Rant over, but I do really like the Bulls, and I think 45 plus for them is really smart as well.
Yeah, I agree. I actually bet Giddey at plus 350 to win most improved. I know he's like a runaway favorite right now, but when you brought up Buzelis at the beginning of the year and he had the exact same odds as Giddey, I was just like, it's just like you got to go from like tier 2 to tier 3 or whatever. You got to make a bigger leap than coming out of nowhere like Buzelis, who isn't necessarily putting up the numbers, and Giddey. Second half of last year is when he started his breakout. So it's not even like he was like this kind of triple double machine for most of last season, right? I mean, he's just like he's been creeping up. Now he's like totally taken over for a team that's winning games.
Just to say though, that's what annoys me about that award in general. Most improves is so subjective. There's no criteria, and I agree with you. But like, let's just call it what it is. Like Giddey was always this good. He did not have the opportunity in Oklahoma City to be this guy. And then he comes here, he's given the reins. To his credit, he could have folded because it does something when you're the guy every game, and he hasn't. So that's credit to him, but he had the ability to do this always. That's the weird thing is like, did he improve or did he just get more time? Like, that's so silly to me.
Yeah, I know. I mean, some of the time that's how the award goes, but yeah, as far as the Bulls' success, like what he's going to keep doing, he's doing. I don't think Kobe White is the type of guy to like throw a wrench in your plans.
They looked great together last year on the floor. Yeah,
he should fit in fine. And you didn't mention Zach Collins coming back too, which might make them not terrible, defending the rim if they're able
Yeah.
to give him some minutes. But we just saw the Bulls come back against the Sixers, and that's why I think you can actually fade the Sixers a little bit here
Mm,
at plus 150 to make the play in. I say
interesting.
fade them because the reason this is good odds is because ESPN projection has them 81% to be in the top six
Wow.
after their hot start. And that's just, that's not happening to me. They're not getting in the top six. I think what we're buying here is that they don't fall out of the play in entirely. We glimpsed the future a little bit on Monday where they could not score in the second half. I think they had 16 points other than Maxey in the second half. Joel Embiid's still kind of an anchor that, he makes plays here and there, but he's just kind of holding them back. And if you play Drummond and Bone all the time, then your offense is a little too much centered on Maxey, who, ran out of gas like everybody else, man. The Sixers, they just, I don't know if they can sustain what they were doing early in the season. Their offensive rating through the charts, their defense, not great. But they can be good enough, in my opinion, to hang in this mix. I mean, so if Orlando cracks the top 10, then we're talking about maybe Toronto, which is plus 110, Boston, which is plus 130, maybe one of those teams falling out of the playoffs entirely. I mean, I'll bet against Toronto, but the last few years, like in their weird mismatched roster, their last 3 wins have all come with extreme rest advantage. Like just total like fluke. Spots for them to be like, oh, thank you, NBA schedule. Like we will take a win now because this team has no interest in playing. They are not very good. They opened the season as maybe the worst defense in the league, worst defense in the East. So they can fall out, and the Sixers, they're going to fall because they actually have an average schedule, 18th in strength of schedule, and 6 of the other 8 teams in that bottom of the schedule, in terms of easiest schedule, are in the play-in mix, right? In terms of 2 I mentioned, Chicago, Miami, Atlanta, they all have very easy schedules. I think they'll be able to stay in front of the Sixers here.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest threat to the bet to me is them making this top 6. Yeah, like you said with ESPN, that's why you get the plus 150. But if you look through the teams, like if you believe in Chicago and Detroit, then this makes complete sense. Because teams like the Magic, maybe the Heat, and at least maybe the Hawks and the Magic especially, and then maybe the Heat are the 3 teams that I could see coming in and grabbing that 6th seed. Right. I'm not worried about a 3-5 Magic team right now. Let me say, I am worried that their offense is just going to be like the ceiling to it is just, it's higher than it is right now, like where it's at right now, but it's not high enough to like maybe hang with some teams in the East. So we'll see. But I do think they still have a higher ceiling possible if they can turn around on offense. That would be the threat. Like I said, is that they just keep playing well, but Joel being Joel is going to probably help that just climb over. So I'm going to take an under here on the Mavs on theirs. Right. And I do feel this way about the Dubs too. Theirs is much higher, 50.5 wins for the Dubs. I think that's just way too high. I might even like that a little bit more than the Mavs because I do think like even like I think Steph and Jimmy, barring like real injury, are still going to be missing time on purpose. They're going to be missing time because they're going to be cautious. So maybe it would be like obviously if it was a playoff game, Jimmy would play, but it's not. So he ain't playing. That kind of stuff's going to happen a lot. So I don't think 50.5 is reasonable. I think they're a slightly above 500 team and like they are probably a play-in team, maybe the 6th seed in the West. Then moving to the Mavs here, like what's the margin of error here for them? You don't have much to go over is my point here, right? Like you really need things to sort of fall into place exactly as they should. And if they don't, then you don't have any outs here, right? And what I mean by that is Anthony Davis being healthy, period, end of story. Look at this roster, man. Like it's not impressive without Kyrie being Kyrie. It's not impressive if AD doesn't have consistently Lively and Gafford around him to do what he wants, which is to play the 4 and allow him to do that. So even if he is out there and Lively and Gafford aren't, then the upcoming injury for him feels imminent. It's what happens when he plays the 5, right? It's partly why he doesn't want to play the 5 anymore. After that, dude, like Cooper Flag could be good. I don't know that he's going to be the best player from this class, man. Like Dylan Harper and others look really, really, really good already. They have better systems. They're maybe some of them are being asked to do less, but not really Dylan Harper. Helps to play with Wemby. My point is like Cooper Flag, this is not going to be the year that you're like, this dude's going to be something in the NBA. I don't know that you're going to see much that's going to tell you that this season. Then you're talking about relying on D'Lo as your facilitator, or potentially Najee Marshall, which is nice over a 4 or 5 game stretch to be like, hey, Najee's averaging like 5-6 assists per game over the last 5-6 games. That's not sustainable for a whole season. So Max Christie, great player off ball, great D and 3 kind of guy who with some versatility in the youth and the length. Awesome. Love that for him. this can't be one of your top 5 options, even on offense, right? He's got to just be something that you bring in as that 3-and-D guy. I'm running out of guys that you're like, well, maybe he'll step up into what role, man? Like, this isn't a team that's going to have superstar 1A, 1B. Maybe some D'Lo AD stuff for a few games is nice. How long are they going to be healthy at the same time? There's just so many ways that this goes wrong for the Mavs. I think like 30 wins is pretty reasonable for a projection.
Yeah, it's gone off the rails a little bit here already. I mean, it opened at 40. People were on the fence about, looking at the optimistic outlook here is like AD has a revenge season. He turns back the clock. Well, he's already got some weird phantom injury that's going to hobble him, and he's going to leave other games if he does play. Kyrie comes back in March, maybe. Well, Kyrie's watching this and he's just like, no, I'm not rushing back for this team. They were losing to the Pelicans at home, right, last night. Cooper Flag is still, while he got some points, is still just looking kind of tentative on offense, not at all like the slam dunk prospect. And part of that is just because the roster doesn't fit well together, and you're putting everything on D'Lo's shoulders. Like you need playmaking guards in the NBA today. You don't just need 7 centers, which is basically what the Mavs are trotting out there.
Unless one of those centers is Alperen Şengün, and then you can run him out as your point guard because he is absolutely incredible. Did it again last night, ended up running away with that game for the Rockets. Another reason not to like the Mavs is that I don't think they'll take one off a team like the Rockets and that division out there in the West. But that is all the time we have for you in sort of a special episode today, as we really wanted to get some more stuff out to you. I'm not going to touch aside in this game for the Suns and the Clips tonight, but we do have some good looks in the props, and then hopefully you guys can get some of those regular season win totals and all the other stuff we've got for the futures down as well, because there's some money to be made there. So until we see you next for a nice big slate here on Friday, happy betting.